well. So there is a potential precedent set that Big could lose this game. Chances of it, though, Pilski, I mean, if you had to give it a percentage, right, is this like a 90-10% or is it like 80-20? Where are we leaning towards in terms of just what we would expect coming through from this matchup?
The whole best of 3, I'd probably say like a 90-10 in my opinion. But we'll see. I'm actually interested in the point that Kev brought up as we get into the pistol round here. That Zentaris is playing against a lot of players that he used to play on a similar team with. You see the push in towards Banana, the quick CT smoke, and they're going to rush straight into B.
Yeah, Sensei leading the charge, Glock in hand, does manage to probably spot both of those CTs. I think Sang will have a good idea of where they are. Quito has managed to already chime in with one, and a fast rotation across from Tizian does aid in the defense. A 3-on-2 so far, but no bomb plant for the T's.
Locked out as well as soon as that smoke does fade. Very, very important that Tizian actually holds on to construction over there. So now SANGAL just going to be slowing things down, just waiting for a few reactions, but similarly Big, not really overextending, just grouping up and making sure there's no push potential that comes out.
Yeah, interesting little head stack coming through from them there as well, waiting to see whether or not someone from SANGAL would try to get aggressive and perhaps get punished for it. Zentaris gets deleted by Major. And that already is a bit of a how you go on moment now for Big, because frees things up a lot for SANGAL. Bomb plant definitely on offer now.
Slows down so much. Paz is always sharp with these USPs. I've seen so many highlight clips going back quite a while from him, and SANGAL, after that initial pick, they're going to make a push back towards B Banana.
Paz just got around the corner.
Yeah, they leave just at the wrong time as well, because now Big's actually cleared out the site. Going to take the time to make sure they clear out Dark, they clear out everything. And now they'll be a little bit late to the rotation. It'll still be a 2-on-2 at the end of the day.
Yes, they'll be late, but they might be earlier than SANGAL expects. And that could be the difference maker.
It's so risky for Major playing one-on-one fights like this. If he wins that, that would have been huge for SANGAL, but it's all down to Paz now. He's definitely pulled a couple of these rotations out.
Well, a couple of taps go through, down to 9 left in the chamber. Now 8, running short on bullets, but all he needs really is 2. Searson down below HP now. And it's on to Tizian solo. 49 now for Paz. Both players just dancing around the bomb site, jumping up and jumping down, and finally Paz falls. It was a long, extended pistol round in the end, but Big come away with it.
I wonder if the scroll wheel got the best of him there, because that was a bit of an uncharacteristic time to be hitting yourself a jump. Said and done, though. It's very impressed with Major there. You know, SANGAL very much, once they got into that 2-on-3, realized that they had to go and make a play and actually try to find some picks in the mid-round to make that round work for themselves. And they almost got it done. Major, again, sort of cutting a bit of a corner, taking a duel in towards Jungle's side, but, you know, couple sharper shots, and it definitely could have worked out for him.
1-0 for Big, so off to a pretty reasonable start. SANGAL, though, did manage to get the bomb plant down, so they have a little bit to invest into this round. Mac-10s for the majority, but Paz also has an AK. I mean, there's enough punching power there for SANGAL to make something happen in a round like this.
Yeah, they've gone for the force here, and they've really taken their time moving through the map. They've completely forfeited that banana control, looking to try to retake it potentially with some utility at some point. And only now are they starting to take some map control towards carpets. Maybe they'll go back later towards banana.
That was a nice little play from Engine. He actually fakes out the weapon drop to see if he can maybe bait out the fact that Tizian may be calling that the bomb's being left over at second mid. Bomb's actually still over at T-Stair. Searson, with the scout, going to be watching over Nana at this stage. It's going to be a hard one to crack in for SANGAL. It doesn't matter how many flashbangs you want to throw at Searson.
Well, he's definitely regarded as one of the better scout players in the world, and almost started to get a sense of why that was. 2 tags, obviously a decent enough start for him individually, but having now fallen opens up the B bomb site. Quito, very quick on the rotation, does get through faster than they expected, finishes off both the low HP players, and now we're back to a 3-on-4, and it's chaos amongst the ranks. A fox among the henhouse for SANGAL Esports as the big players just start to decimate them, and finally, we end the round with all 4 big players left alive. The only loss, the scout of Searson.
Yeah, I think end of the day, SANGAL, they did a decent job pressuring in towards carpets. Cute little play, dropping the gun. They threw a fair amount of utility towards bracket, just trying to take the CTs off of the lines and limit the info that they had. Then they went back with the flashes, tried to take that banana control, but I mean, the Molotov segmenting them off gives a little bit of an opportunity for Quito to push in. You also had the missed CT smoke. And some good bullying from Big. This is the better team saying, we're here to play and we're just going to absolutely tear you apart on the eco. Give you no time to discuss what's going on, and that is a round that's over before you can blink.
Yeah, certainly gives you that air of confidence coming through from Big to start the game off. 3-0 now for them. SANGAL Esports will move into their first gun round, which is in a lot of instances where we start to say, okay, this is where we'll get an idea of how this game might play out. Right? The first gun round is the one that feels important in that respect. But I kind of get the sense that we're already starting to see maybe how this game might play out.
The money's great for Big, and those kind of rounds where you just demolish the other team anti-eco, it makes the underdog team feel a little bit pressured sometimes, like they're down 5-0 and it's only been 10 minutes. They haven't really had time to get rolling.
Bit more of a fight towards Nana control. This one in time as well. Both sides. Imor just straight through the smoke. Picks off Tamsin. That's going to force an early rotation. Potentially SANGAL. It's going to be Sensi. Just with the AWP, trying to see if we could exploit a timing over there at top brackets. Not to be found.
You take everything you can get. AWP swapped over to Imor because he's a little bit lower. And SANGAL just going to start walking towards this bracket side. Do have utility to be able to take bracket, smoke off jungle. Just Tizian left out on an island here as the smoke goes towards jungle side.
They talk about players being left on an island. That's now Searson over towards Banana. Solo with the AWP, which allows the extra rotation across, but now he's lost his life. And so 3 players left alive for Big, 2 of which are locked into the A bomb site, more or less. Kito's going to have a look back over at B, but that's not going to help things out all that much for the CT side. SANGAL really slowing things down.
It's just good patience being shown. They found a very fortunate opening frag. They hold the line over towards Banana, and now they're just waiting for Big to make more mistakes in this 3-on-5.
I gotta say, it feels like Big's kind of reading it well, although they have now gone back over to B when it seems SANGAL headed towards A. There was a brief moment I thought SANGAL was actually going to head back to B, and Big had called that rotation perfectly, but now it's on to Tizian solo, and how much he can get done, essentially. He's going to have to get more than enough. He's going to probably have to win the round himself, and he can't do that, that's for sure. SANGAL Esports will pick up their first round.
Yeah, Major this time around. Incursion as the jungle does actually net a reward. Gets the 2 picks from the rotations. Xantara is unfortunately leaving jungle at the worst time, just as Major decides to re-aggress him without any utility. So first gun round does manage to go in SANGAL's favor. 3 guns up as well, which is going to be absolutely huge for their economy. No AWP in play, though. And that was really just all Imor making those opportunities work, alongside with Major at the end of the day. Big, all enough in the cash. Going to be contesting Nana. Might have to give it away, though. Imor's just straight up here.
Yep. This is good from SANGAL. Not letting Big control the pace of the game, taking Banana control off of them relatively quickly. Will force Big to go for a bit of a retake setup. There's the retake utility in from Xantara. Pushes Imor into the corner, and Tabson on top of that Emo corner box. That is a beautiful setup from Big.
Very nice, Pilski. Might be one where you can have a look back in the skybox at one point. You know?
Do we have that technology on
I don't think we have that technology on this broadcast.
That technology on this broadcast.
But I'm just saying,
At some point.
At some point, you
unspecified.
Could. Still, it looks like SANGAL Esports are going to set themselves up for a B take.
Yeah, just hit the small site whenever you're down in numbers, but the smoke is so well timed for Kito.
Yeah, very, very nicely timed smoke, and Tabson spamming through it. He's going to do a little bit of damage to help Kito out, who is actually only able to manage the 1. Starting to fall by the wayside a little bit for SANGAL Esports regardless. The HP deficit is so astronomical.
They keep missing that smoke over at Nana, which means they have to drop that second smoke now to cover off the gap. Main job is thinking about what kind of corner he can cut this time around. There's no corners that can be cut. Just straight through the smoke on the side of Big.
Just no opportunities being given to SANGAL. They lose that opening pick due to a really, really nice setup of utility, just pushing that terrorist into the corner. And then when SANGAL tries to get into the site, they have to run through a smoke. There's, mollies, there's HE nades flying in, and there's just multiple players from Big spamming through the smokes on common angles. And you just look at how much damage they take before they can even get boots on the ground in the site. It's an absolute nightmare to walk into.
It does wonders for Big as well. Things were starting to look a little bit rocky, and economically speaking, now dragging themselves out of that a little bit. Searson's back on the AWP. SANGAL Esports are down to a Mac 10 on one of their players. No real utility to speak of for Engine. So it's a bit of a spotty buy on the T side.
Nana being contested heavily by Big. Imor going to try and get in there though. Makes his way in towards Olaf. He's going to drop a smoke towards the half wall. That's the second time Imor's almost opened up the accounting. But both players just going to spam each other for 80. And not too bad for SANGAL as they swap the Mac 10 over to Imor. Maybe you can chuck him on the entry duties. And they're just going to walk up Banana without too much noise.
Yeah, it seems like they want to try and go towards that B bomb site again.
I mean, there's not enough utility to really take top brackets, then execute onto the site. They've only got 3 smoke grenades left. And, well, I mean, a shortcut like that from Paz might work absolute wonders. Kito's tagged down low, but the ult from Searson is going to be over here. Has that utility to assist. Molotov, nothing's really putting it out. There's nothing really left for SANGAL to work with outside of Molly and a flashbang.
They've really struggled to get into that B bomb site, haven't they? Time and time again, the utility is there for the CTs.
Yep, they just delay them. Keep spamming the angles, Molotovs, counter flashes, and after all said and done, SANGAL, they decide to call the audible straight back through bracket onto this A site, and there's actually not a single soul in position. Tizian could maybe catch one on the rotation into the site and make Big's job a little bit easier. That's potentially an opportunity missed as SANGAL is going to further their advantage and put this bomb down.
Yeah, I think that's probably the round actually as well, not just the bomb plant being put down on the A bomb site. Seems Big are not interested in trying to make that retake happen, so got a little bit overzealous on the rotation. Tizian, he almost had a chance. I think he did have a chance. He was on an off angle, you know, maybe it's a one and done position, but one there might have been enough to at least give Big a chance on the retake. Either way, hasn't worked out for Big on the CT side for that round, and so SANGAL Esports will pick up their second. And it feels like we're playing a bit of a tug of war right now, right? This is not necessarily leaning one way or another.
It just comes down to sometimes just individual calls that are being made by SANGAL. And even for Big, it's just a case of Tizian. If he stays alive, he's able to drop a utility. Here's that entire cascade. Was not expecting them to just commit onto the site without dropping a utility, without clearing pit. He gets caught off by that as a result.
Well, the decision to save has earned Big plenty. It's a pretty good looking buy from them. And SANGAL, I mean, they only dropped that Mac 10, so their buy is looking pretty fantastic. Got about 2k in the bank on all their players. Going to contest for that mid control. And look at this banana take being coming out. And, oh my god, Imor has been so good in towards banana here. Really making a massive difference for SANGAL.
Searson on his own on B, and Tabson's on his own on A. So this has not gone the way that Big would have liked things to have. Tabson again out in no man's land, just waiting for the push to come through. There's certainly a lot of noise being made by the SANGAL Esports roster. Util going down, Tabson can't quite land the shots. And Searson's going to have to do something pretty incredible to make that round swing back towards Big. SANGAL Esports, I think, are bailed out a little bit by Imor there. He gets the 2 in Banana through some pretty unlikely circumstances, all things considered. Good flashes helping him out. At the end of the day, you'll take it.
Did he just like pop himself in, Mitch?
I'm not sure. I
think
didn't see if anyone was supporting him with Util.
I thought he just banged one off the wall, just came strafing out. He's been playing Nana very impressively so far. Barely tanks any utility damage.
It can be pretty intimidating, especially against a team like Big who has all these different utility setups to try to contest Banana. And that's the kind of attitude you need. You need to just get in there and contest it and, you know, be able to create the space for your team. That's the turning point in the half as well for SANGAL. Their money's fantastic, and now they get into an anti-eco. It's going to play the high percentages and go through jungle side.
Oh, the Zeus, huge! But Tizian not able to pick up the gun in time to have a second crack there at Paz, who will eventually trade him down. Numbers advantage for SANGAL Esports, and the weaponry is also in their favor. But really, for Big, it's just a case of how many guns can they take away, and maybe can they steal one, sneak one through to the next round. Seems an unlikely prospect at this point in time with only the one left alive, and SANGAL Esports are able to negotiate it comfortably.
CT's just going to take a sit down on the couch, feel out a bit. Well, SANGAL is going to be pretty hard to fault on this T side. Looking at their money, they're just going to have gun round after gun round after gun round. Sensei's going to have AWPs for days. And as for Big, I mean, they're missing a couple of grenades and they're missing kits as well. So if this gets in towards the late round, that could be an issue.
Imor going to be accelerating over here at Nana. There are going to be 3 members. 4 members, actually, but
they don't even contest. He's just creating so much space for SANGAL over there towards B. They just take banana control 10-15 seconds into the round. Double AWP for Big as well is a bit of a change up, but the quick exit in towards B.
And they're going to get past that Molotov for the most part. Keto is kind of locked out, and Tabson really doesn't have a whole lot that he can do. Keto's gone through the smoke, but he can't land a shot. And Tyrus luckily gets one through the smoke, but I'm not sure that's going to help Big all that much. Back to the save.
It's just a case of unfortunate timing for Big, because they were setting up for a retake on Banana there, I think. They were trying to throw some retake utility, and as that was flying in, SANGAL went for the execute maybe 10-15 seconds earlier than they'd been doing previously. Just changing up the pace and the timing throws Big off a little bit.
Make your own luck, though.
Yeah, it's a really excellent T-side so far. I mean, this is the level that SANGAL needs to be playing at if they want to try to cause this upset and keep their run in the upper bracket going. This is their strongest map statistically. I think their last 3 months, I was taking a look, they're 20-6. Whereas for Big, last 3 months, they've actually only played this map 3 times. So that's a pretty massive difference in terms of reps and officials.
That's a huge discrepancy, actually. And I would have thought we would have seen a little bit more from that, from Big. Like, Inferno is one of the maps that crops up in the map pool quite a lot. So I have to question where's their allegiances lie in that respect.
Also say it's like 3 times the last couple of months. 0% win rate. I mean,
yeah,
it's a small sample size when you're
it's
versing
against
really
pretty
good
quality
teams.
teams, though. It's against like G2 and Na'Vi and teams like that. And at the same token, you also have to take into account the, tournament structure and stuff like that. SANGAL is grinding all of these tournaments that are coming up in Europe, entering into everything that they can to get the practice in, whereas Big is going to be a bit more selective about the officials they're playing.
Indeed. Well, Big is going to have to be a bit selective about the weaponry that they've got in this round as well. Deagle for Keto and Tabson only. It's not a huge amount of util either, and they're not really confident in contesting Banana once more, so SANGAL get that for free again. Yes. Costs a little bit of HP for Immor, but you'll take that.
It's just the half buy around the saved weaponry.
Cheeky little boost coming off over there at Nano. One of the rifles being assisted. Now comes a flashbang. Zakaras does manage to turn away in time. Utility unfortunately falters. Keto now from New Box, dancing around the side. Eventually traded out. The CT's going to try for the reboost. Has waiting for it.
Tabson really not likely to get a whole lot done through the smoke just with that Deagle. Will be flashed in. But Sensei watching for it. And it's an unlikely prospect now for Big, especially considering they're down 2 men. Again, save time. I mean, this is starting to give me a bit of a sense of deja vu again and again. SANGAL into the B bomb site. Big saving over on A. And it's the makings of a really rough CT side, right? Big constantly low money, trying to get these rounds going. Can't really do it. Have to save. You've sort of half force, half buy into the next round. And again, you don't have that much money. And again, you don't really have a great chance of fighting for the round. And inevitably, SANGAL just kind of keeps rolling over these rounds. If they keep that confidence flowing and they are able to find those entries, lose out pretty quickly.
Yeah. They're playing an excellent game. Need to show the consistency across the 3 maps, though, because if you're expecting SANGAL to take any map in this series, it's going to be Inferno, if you're just taking a look at the stats. Vertigo, going to be a tough prospect. Mirage, one of those maps where that and Nuke, a little bit hard to sort of pick, but you'd probably be backing Big just based on the opposition they've been competing against. I'm enjoying this T side though. Probably a product of having someone like Major at the helm of your team.
A little bit more presence into the Banana this time from Big, but it feels antsy at best.
It's actually a much more patient approach from SANGAL. They're waiting for the timing to go for the flash play. Either Major waiting for them to push down and try to take control of Olof or Logs. He's just going to walk up. Maybe SANGAL considering a contact play this round, just continually changing up how they want to approach these rounds.
You get the sense that it'll work as well because...
Oh, the boost. That's a read right there. They're well aware of how that being anchor plays that position and they try to exploit it. Opportunity missed, but just creating those opportunities is impressive. It shows SANGAL's very prepared for this match.
And pressure continuing to mount for the CT side.
And here's the thing as well, it's none of the B-site players have any smokes or utility left. So 30 seconds, in a theoretical scenario right now where SANGAL's setting up for this should draw rotations from Big. There is actually nothing that they can actually use to defend the site, but no one from here. Just trust in the big team members right now to hold on to that B site. It's actually going to be an A hit out of apartments, and it's just happening at the same time, but they might run out of time over here.
Potentially could. 10 seconds left on the clock. Santara is boosted up on the box. Gets deleted by Imor. And Searson drops as well. It's just falling apart for Big, unfortunately. You know, it looked so good.
They came right down to the wire. And you would expect the rotations to be drawn out there, but Big, the way that they've been playing the CT side, you've just seen it. Like, you know, they trust in the two-man setup to hold B. If it doesn't work out, they save. Tends to be the approach from these lads.
Well, Keto's going to be back on that save game again.
Just the way that SANGAL's like layering these T-side strategies is so beautiful to watch. They go for different approaches on different timings, just all the time. Absolutely awesome. You know, earlier it was the B contest into waiting for the mistakes and the B execute. Then it was a bit more of an up-tempo timing on the execute, trying to catch Big on the retake utility. That time it's a fake. You know, Major committing into the site by himself with the util, finding that one opening pick, and then they go in towards A. It's got to be pretty difficult for Big to read, even for a team like them.
I mean, timeout now being called by Big. What would you do here for them to try to at least win the rest of the half?
Well, you got one more buy ahead, at least, with the money that they've got. It's not going to be a perfect one, but you can get the AWP for Searson, you know, so there is that.
Comes down to Xantara. If he gets that kill on Timor, could have been absolutely big because they can't get the bomb down, but misses a couple of shots. Imor has been absolutely clutch so far in a lot of these situations where he's able to pick off and isolate the targets when he needs to.
Double AWP setup coming in. Right off the back here for Big. And that is another missed opportunity. Imor once again wins the opening duel over towards Banana. This man has been having immense success for SANGAL.
It's not looking good for Big, is it?
Fortunately not, but Searson might be here to save the day. He's able to fall back through into Tiggity.
Set himself up with a second chance. Tizian spots the extra player out on the other side, and Paz runs his way into the bomb site. Santara is defending with the Famous. Almost got himself a 3K. Down to a one-on-one. I mean, I think at this point, if you're Tabson, you almost have to go for this. Down 4 and 7. This is about the best chance Big is going to get to win a round. By the looks of things.
Just depends. Might have the timing. Tabson peering away, but the shadow gives it away. And Sensei looking in the right direction at the right time. Big just cannot break this drought of rounds at the moment. SANGAL just doing all the right things at the right time. Rewarded with an excellent T-side half so far. Big have to go on another eco after this.
Thought that was about to be a Searson round right there. Just the way he was positioning himself. Goes for the calculated risk, peeking down mid in towards that church position. And I thought it was just going to be him lining them up one at a time, just falling back onto multiple angles. I think really the turning point once again is the fact that they just keep losing this duel in towards Nana onto Imor.
And that one looked like one that they should win as well.
Yeah, there's been a couple of them. That you'd back Big to be able to convert those aim duels, but something's not 100%, at least in this opening map.
Slow to start perhaps for Big, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the map is over just yet. 4 and 8, it's not a good looking scoreline. But if they can salvage a little bit more towards the end of the half, you know, get this up to 5, maybe 6. Yourself a little bit more to play with and start to push on in the T side. Lots of HE nades for Big right now in this round. This could end up being pretty impactful. Couple thrown into Banana. Still a couple left in the back pocket as well. Not a huge amount of damage going through onto SANGAL yet.
I think one thing I want to say is that Philly is SANGAL don't fear making the contact plays. They've just got trust that they can actually take these aim duels. So important that you actually have the trust that you can take it against some of these big members. That said, though, Keto jumping through the smoke.
Bomb's dropped.
Yeah, that nade also good enough to pick off another one. So the T's kind of spread thin a little bit. All down to Searson, the P250. SANGAL do manage to clear up some of these pistols.
Well, as of yet, his position is unknown, so this could get a little bit cheeky. 1 minute left on the clock. Paz deleted with the bomb in hand. Engine to trade and make it look relatively comfortable in the end for SANGAL. 9-4, but the gun round to come for the CT side, and this sort of starts to feel like the last attempt for Big to salvage something in the half. If they don't get it done here, well, what chance do they have in the last round?
Yeah, I mean, they've got that loss bonus building up. Depends if they save over weapons and stuff like that, right?
True.
Only the one kit. Searson saves 1.1k. Maybe help him out reinvesting in towards that next round. And again, SANGAL, they win that banana control. And Imor, another opening frag. This man's on fire. He just can't be stopped.
He literally ran through fire to get there. Through his own teammate's Molotov to try to take that opening duel, to try to catch Big off guard. And it works an absolute treat because how many rounds has it been that Big have stacked 3 members, 4 members over here to the B site, and they're still losing the opening duel over there in Arno?
And now Tizian's left on A alone. The rotation's coming through, but it's way too late. Even if Tizian gets one there, it's still not going to be enough. Big are in an absolute shambles. Going to have to go back and save again. So that's 10 double digits achieved for SANGAL. I mean, I've just been looking at Imor's KD. You look at it 10-10, you think that's not that good, but I mean, think about the kills that he's been getting.
Putting his team into a 1-for-1.
Insane.
Yeah. Every single round on the T side is the dream. Just setting them up for so much success. The calling's been excellent from SANGAL so far. And if anything, lights a fire under Big's butt in this series.
Big butt?
Yeah, big butt.
I'm just going to say it's...
Look at this, the hunt.
Yeah. Going hard for it.
I mean, why not at this point? SANGAL have all the money in the world to throw away, and any single gun that they take out of the hands of Big is going to be important.
Yep, absolutely. They have unlimited cash to invest. Big, very limited. Drops come over, and does that one gun they took away make a difference? Kinda does.
Yeah, Xantares has to go down to a FAMAS as a result, so...
Absolutely worth.
I mean, does it make a difference at this stage? I think that's the real question. SANGAL doesn't matter what guns have been coming out for Big. Double AWP.
I see what you're saying.
All the rifles, all utility. And SANGAL still come out on top every single time.
I don't disagree at all.
This time, again, a different look from SANGAL. Imor to take the AWP. Go and take a duel onto that line. No flash available from Major, so he just has to take the duel. And the fact that he's been able to peek into an AWPer's line again and doesn't lose his life is pretty ludicrous.
Bits of chip damage starting to go across to the big lineup. Xantares looking a little worse for wear right now, especially considering he's only got a FAMAS to play with. And the A-bomb site relatively undefended, but this time Big might have gotten across in time to pose some semblance of a defense. Tizian up on top of Graveyard helps out. Tapson also chiming in. Finally, maybe some success for the CT side. 2 versus 2. And again, it's about as good as it's been for Big up to this point. Tito around the corner in Diggity does manage to catch Engine, and finally an advantage, but can Major clutch it out and draw another nail in the coffin? Big spray, but it won't connect through onto Quito. In the end, the scoreline will be 10-5. Big will be happy with that at the very least, managing to get the final round in the half. We'll take a quick break. Don't go too far away. Second half coming up after this.
I've been told I'm gonna paint a new reality. It doesn't take a lot to turn a person into gold. Yeah, I've been getting good at alchemy. And you can stay inside in the dark, but without it you never let go. When you're done with hiding and you wanna have control, you and I can find a perfect fantasy. Stepped out looking like a small fire. Half glass that filled with desire. Head down, but no, I can't deny it. Life is fun when you're a liar.
Some absolute bangers to get you by in the halftime break there. Hope you enjoyed it. But, guys, things are not looking good for Big at the moment. Tough day at the office for them. 5 rounds on the CT side of Inferno. SANGAL really running away with a lot more than it felt like they would be liable to in an ordinary scenario. They got away with a lot, I think, is probably what I'm trying to get at here. And so, 10 rounds, fantastic start for SANGAL Esports. They look really good, but I wonder if there's a little bit left in the tank here for Big, if they can sort of throw something else at us on the T side.
I think Pilsky is indicating to me that I should say what I said in the halftime break, and I just... Like, Big is just getting his Ontario's picks by every single member of SANGAL Esports at the moment. It's not even... It's like every single time. Imor's like 5 for opening duels. 5 and 2 right now, and he's going for more.
6 and 2. He wants to go 6 and 2. This is the opportunity too. SANGAL, look at this stack towards the A side, towards bracket with all those USP armors and engine. Just solo towards B. Big though, exploring Carpet, exploring Nana. They got their options open to them. They're not overcommitting to anything. 2 sets of util. They can throw lots of different kinds of strats.
Zentaras does get spotted in the banana. Imor down to 8 HP. Things starting to pick up the pace a little bit, but Engine just cleans up the head of Zentaras. Keto drops as well, and it seems there will be no change after the halftime break unless CREDITS has something to say about it. There we go. Finally, a little bit of life from Big. And CREDITS gives them an opportunity in the pistol round.
I mean, are they going to expect Imor? Of course, CREDITS is expecting that one. 4 kills, has completely converted his pistol round back towards Big's favour. Now Engine going to be steamrolling his way down Nana. I don't know if he can pick off any of these lurkers, but so many corridors he needs to clear out. Bomb plant's just going to go down. CREDITS won't be checking this. Will be checking this in time. Will be looking back towards Nana, and he picks up the pistol ace. That's a big way for Big to get back into it.
You have to say, how many players from SANGAL was that peaking bracket? Taking a duel against CREDITS, I was looking at maybe 10, 15 Glock shots being whiffed. I mean, USP shots. That's 100% should be a trade from Sensei. Unfortunate.
Happens. And you got to hope that that is not going to be the round for SANGAL Esports that they go back to and start to relive in their heads up in this series.
Yeah, you don't want to give Big any extra room, particularly on a T side.
See whether or not Big can start to flex their muscles. Already taking control of Banana now.
Yeah. It's the half buy on the CT side of Inferno. See it regularly, see it all the time. All of the smokes being held by SANGAL. They just want to play the delay game. They're being very greedy with their utility. First one goes down at 120. Even that's potentially a little early. You might see the rotation over from Paz with the additional smoke swapping with Major.
Probing into brackets as well for Big.
Counter util comes out just a little bit late from SANGAL. Just the smoke maybe to deter further aggression.
Haven't had that rotation over towards B. It's just Engine there with that one flash. No more smokes over towards B. Major leaning back towards B, and actually it's going to be a stack from SANGAL. These smokes are pulling the rotations over, but Big very much happy to walk in towards this A site, and Xantara's looking to punish him more on that line. That's excellent from Big, just pushing pulling the rotations with just utility. Tabson even gets an extra one on the way out there.
Yeah, happy to take that, that's for sure. Mac 10 giving him a bit of extra money in the bank. Sensei, let's see if he can cause a bit of a ruckus here with the deagle. Just the one. Difficult to come through for a double kill in a position like that. Paz and Engine, though, may still be in with a chance, considering how low Xantara's was. Now 8 seconds left on the clock. Big do get the bomb plant down, and Engine scurries away back towards B.
You're already seeing the differences between Big and SANGAL in the way that they rotate. Big on that CT side, you'd see the utility come in, not a single person would budge an inch on some of those gun rounds. On this round, I mean, it was the half buy. Maybe that's why SANGAL is feeling a little bit more loose on the rotations, wants to play a little bit more on the stacky side because they're just on the pistol armor. But you're already seeing like how much some of these players on the CT side are shifting just based off of the utility and grenades versus Big, who... Ooh.
Oh,
Knife?
Engine.
Oh. That's not a bad pickup, though.
600 in the bank. Always going to be decent for that CT side economy.
Could open double AWP off the back of that, to be honest, if you wanted to. Well, just a couple of weapons that could do a little bit of economic damage here for SANGAL. Big doing a decent job building up their economy. They want to keep it nice and strong moving through the later parts of this half. But this is where this game gets a little bit closer, and where you see underdog teams sometimes fall apart a little bit. Is, you know, great start in the first half. You know, they came in with that high energy. But can they keep the energy consistent, not only across the rest of this map, but also across the rest of the series?
So close with that CT. Could have been a double kill, both players lining up, but they get away with one. Feels like they need a little bit of luck going their way.
I mean, that's just a great anti-eco setup, really. The jungle wrap with all of the utility planned perfectly. You love to see it. That's why you love watching Big.
Well, so far, so good for Big. Definitely a difficult first half, but they are showing signs of life in the second half here. And moving on to the T side, you know, aids them economically speaking. They get to decide how the game plays out a little bit more, as opposed to, as you so eloquently put it, getting Xantara's peaked constantly in Banana over and over again on the CT side.
I mean, sometimes as well, it is the difference between being able to show initiative and, you know, set the pace yourselves, choose how the rounds are going to unfold versus being reactive. It's a very different skill set sometimes.
They've got the tenure as well to grind it back. I mean, after that pistol round, it's going to help a lot. Searson picking up that ace just allows Big now a lot more leeway to make a few more mistakes, to allow SANGAL maybe to get a bit lucky with a couple of these rounds. Definitely a few players in SANGAL that can clutch out a round. You're looking at Imor.
First gun round. Ooh, that is an airstrike straight onto Major. And it's looking to probably dump his utility off the back of that.
They've tried to retaliate in the same fashion as SANGAL Esports, but it hasn't worked out for them. A waste of HE nades, though they do manage to clear out logs and the rest of Banana.
That is all of the util gone on towards Banana, so Imor feeling like he has to maybe take a bit of a risk, maybe take a bit of a duel. Major's actually wrapped all the way into jungle and swapped AWP for M4 with Sensei due to the fact that he goes down to 10 HP. We'll see how it works out for him.
Yeah, may see Major just set up on the line solo, finally. a solid opener for Big, though, in a gun round. It feels like a long time since we saw that. Searson starting off nicely in this round. 5-on-4 for Big.
Engine trying to make this mid-round aggression work, but surely he's not going to expect Tizian on this off angle. It's pretty difficult to respond to that. Now it's only going to be Paz over here on that A site. At least Imor's able to lock down Nana for now. So Big going to shuffle their forces back towards A. Motor Smoke going to come out. Paz trying to play the one-way. Is trying to get Imor over here, but Tabson's got this rotation. He doesn't have this rotation locked down. 30 seconds left over here on the A side.
Fast rotation from SANGAL Esports. I'm not sure that Big were expecting that at all. Imor on the off angle, gets flashed, hides back on the bomb side. Paz gets a double. Tizian all of a sudden alone, and the round just falls to bits for Big. That is a crushing blow. Immediate pause called as well. It's no surprise that that's a timeout from Big.
Again, did have the initiative shown by SANGAL there. Ends up being something that works out well for them. Even on that CT side, staying active, staying aggressive. Now Big's economy in a bit of a weird position. Searson obviously purchasing that ult, being a little bit poorer than everybody else. This is a great round for SANGAL to try to take advantage of that, potentially build up their money a little bit, because it's still quite fragile at this point. And Big going to invest in a bit of a half buy. So this is the kind of round where SANGAL, they want to survive with 3 or 4 players up. Make sure they keep that CT economy strong so that they can try to finish this game off.
A few shortcuts now being taken by SANGAL over here. Trying to get aggressive with what weapons they do have. Don't have the most utility, so the AWP aggressive apartment's going to be rewarded. Sensi's got the rifles behind him as well. But unfortunately, Engine not looking the right way.
It's lucky for Big that that trade comes through. Gives them a fighting chance in this round. 4-on-4, definitely workable, particularly with a P250 in hand at close range. But Paz is able to lock down the duel. That's a sharp one from Quito. He'll need more than that, though, and walking slowly around the corner against an AWP is probably not exactly what he was looking for there. Picking up the pace now is Big as they try to get into the bomb site. Searson has an M4. Lots of damage coming from this round. But is it winnable?
If he gets this one, might have been, but I don't think he was expecting that fast of aggression from Imor right underneath Porch.
The way SANGAL's playing that anti-eco is giving me a heart attack, or anti-half buy. At the same time, though, they may have expected to be playing against a gun round there, the way that they potentially could have read that economy. But just like the carpet setup, the Taz solo push-up dig, like all of these duels that they're taking, all these aggressions that they're taking, I'm just looking at them, I'm like, oh man, they lose this one duel, this round's done. And their economy, I mean, you can see the effects of that. The CP money. Actually, the money for both of these teams is cooked, but Searson going down very, very early on might make SANGAL feel a little bit more comfortable.
Gets timing pretty hard over there by the FAMASA Engine. It's already a 4-on-5. They are still attacking top brackets, but Paz just straight laser beams Antares through the smoke.
Just a fortunate couple of opening picks, really. Fortunate set of circumstances, but these are the kinds of opportunities you need to take advantage of. It's beautiful from SANGAL. 5 alive this round would be excellent.
Looks like they're headed in the right direction to get that dream achieved. Goes working his way slowly up the banana alone. Tabson trying to just keep these players honest on A, and he's doing a good job of that, to be fair, but realistically that doesn't help Quito a whole lot. Big A left for him. He won't be able to win it, so that's the round over. Tabson making a lot of noise. And more. We'll give him a solo peek, so you're starting to see the potential come together here for Tabson, but is he aware that there's one more player? Surely should be. Oh, gamble for the bomb plant. Major picks up the pace, makes a couple of footsteps. Smoke to go down. Tabson has at least something to play around. This could be huge for Big. One down already. Engine, though, catches him on the jump. There was the potential there.
But even the kills are massive. That was a 2-on-5 that Big was in, and they still take 3 guns away from SANGAL, and they get the bomb down.
I mean, I I agree, and I get what you're saying. I'm picking up what you're putting down, but it's also Sangal to 13. So at a certain point, Big has to start winning rounds.
There's still time, though. There's still time. You could have the half buy in here from Big. They take a few guns off of Sangal, who have very little loss bonus and have almost no money built up. And that's the window that's open for Big to start to come back a little bit more. At the same time, though, when you've got a 6-round buffer, that might be good enough.
I mean, they're starting to run out of opportunity. It's 13 rounds at the moment. You lose this one, it's 14. You only got 2 rounds to make the difference. And at that stage, it really doesn't matter if the economy's punished.
Well,
All it takes is Sangal getting lucky one more time.
the way the economy works at the moment, comeback is a very real possibility.
Not if Imor just keeps cracking heads open like that. Once again, another opening duel.
Yeah.
Man just wants to take fights.
Yeah. You love to see the confidence from the man. Sangal's not playing like the underdog at all. They're playing with confidence.
Well, this is their map pick, and they're generally pretty good on it. So I'll be interested to see how the tables turn when we do get to Vertigo. Regardless of if it's 1-0 for Sangal or for Big. The prediction is that it'll be a more difficult task for Sangal.
I'm just... the way that... That's 4-3, almost a 4-3 situation, but the way that Sangal's playing these anti-ecos is just... It's kind of giving me some Asian CS vibes, to be honest.
I mean, they are technically part of... I mean, they just line up for him as well.
I'm just watching Engine sprint down Nana by himself into bottom mid, and I'm just... You take the nameplate off of that, and you tell me that that's a Chinese player, and I'm going to say, I believe you. That's somebody.
Somebody play B-side.
All right, 14 rounds up for Sangal. Big, like you guys said, running out of opportunities. They've got the loss bonus behind them. But that's a massive round for Sangal because look at their economy. Much better anti-eco that time around at a critical point in the game. Sets them up for success. Even if they lost one of these couple of gun rounds, they're still going to give it a couple more cracks. And they've got the round buffer.
Well, it's got to be a win here and now for Big, otherwise the map is surely done. So Xantares has a hefty task ahead with a couple of players already set up in apartments.
Flashbang doesn't hit the mark though, so he's going to have to do it himself. But it's not good enough to really push Engine off the angle, but Xantares will be able to do it. Just gets the shots across at the end of the day. It's all down to Paz right now in pit. The big train is now going to be departing, trying to enter platform A site.
Oh, they don't know Paz is here. So if he can get at least a couple... Oh, never mind. Tamsin checks it. Imor was the one lucky enough to slide away another kill.
What's connecting that? Yeah, 2 guns saved over for Sangal will be fine. Especially the AK. Imor was putting that to great use in that last half. So Sangal, this is where every round's kind of dangerous for Big. They're at that 14th score line mark, and when they've got this round buffer, as well as a little bit of cash in the bank, it's kind of a situation where they're intermittently saving a couple of rifles. They're basically maximizing their gun rounds over this 6-round buffer that they have, which means that as long as they manage their economy correctly, Sangal, and saving 2 guns over is a decent example of that, then Big's going to have to worry about a large percentage of these rounds. Maybe only 1 or 2 saves here for Sangal. And even some of those saves, as the loss bonus stacks up, you're going to be looking at half buys, potentially around saved weaponry. Every round's a potential danger for Big.
Yes, they have got themselves into a bit of a sticky situation. But they are supposed to be the favourites for not only this match, but the whole tournament itself. And if you want to live up to that name, then better start right here and right now. Tapson does fall. Imor sort of hides himself in the smoke and maybe gets the rest of the job done. It's, again, just a round that's disappearing for Big. Xantares and Searson are trying to chime in with a couple, but still the numbers advantage for Sangal Esports.
Bombs all the way in T-spawn, so it does mean that Big, even though they do manage to re-aggress back in the top bracket and get a few picks here and there, they still need to go back for it. That's all going to be on Searson. Gun barrel's been spotted out as well from Sensi. Tizian not aware that his position was compromised. It's all down to Searson. Once more, he's done it in the pistol. 1 and 3.
Can't keep relying on it, can you? Even if he does win this, it doesn't really fill you with a whole lot of confidence for Big. It's just one more number on the scoreboard. Player close inside of the smoke should actually just be able to stop that bomb plant, but Major elects not to go through. Allows Searson to jump up. But in the end, Imor assisting with the flash will make it pretty easy for Major in the end. And pretty easy for Sangal, it seems like, right now on Inferno. 15-9. It looks like they're going to walk their way to a victory. Not even double digits for Big.
Just haven't had that many reps in the last couple of months.
Yeah, make that fall.
I don't know if it's necessarily them looking rusty on the map or whether it's just them looking a little bit rusty in general. A lot of duels I'm watching for Big this game that you'd back them to win, not really being won. You got to give credit to Sangal though. This is a strong map for them. They're playing excellently. I've loved their calling on the T side. All of the boys can formate across the board. Now the duel is for Banana. Timor might be the first time he actually lost the duel to Keto in Banana.
No better time to win it than now for Big. They really just had to get something done, didn't they? 15 already up on the board for Sangor Esports. As has a HE nade, which doesn't really do a whole lot of damage. This might be more of a save situation for Sangor Esports than anything else.
Absolutely.
Happy to give the round to Big. That's fine. Plenty to work with. Keep 3 guns alive too. It'd be good.
Go on the hunt. Try to take some guns away from Sangal in the later parts of this round. If he takes 1 or 2 away, they might be a bit more of a difficult situation for Sangal to actually invest, whereas you're looking at Major 3.1 and Sensei with the 2 grand, as well as the loss bonus. Sangal's building up a little bit.
And Tizian, does he go on this hunt or not? He's slowly carrying out apartments. You'd reasonably suspect right now that they're going to be in pit, but Big decide.
They want the extra money buffer. Obviously, you know, if they lose a round, it doesn't matter anyway. But it's when they, you know, you get into these XVX situations and you only have one player surviving. You don't want that one player to forego a piece of utility, or you don't want to not have the access of Searson on the, you know. One Molotov or one HE difference on Inferno can be massive. Protocols are everything. Utility is king on this map.
How about MP9s? Are they king? No, apparently not. But decent enough trade for Major. You'll take that, I think, in the end for Sangor Esports.
Yeah, I mean, it's a 1-for-1, but it's a 1-for-1 that gives Sangal control of Banana. And Sensei is going to be the one to post on the line as well, which means Sangal can sit 3 on towards that A side of the map. You know, usually don't say 4-on-4s favor the CT side, but this is a pretty decent case of it.
Armor's explosion coming out. Engine not going to drop anything. Just going to rely on this crossfire between himself and Major. And Paz now sliding into position as well. Big 2 members separated. Sensei switching out to the 8K instead. Challenging Searson and winning that duel. It's all down to Tabson. Well, there's nothing he can do whatsoever. Sensei cleans up. Sangal